Artificial sweeteners, also called low-calorie sweeteners, sugar substitutes, or non-nutritive sweeteners, are used to sweeten food and drinks. Most artificial sweeteners are depopulation poisons, and they must be avoided at all costs. Unfortunately, common sugar is no longer safe either in some countries, because it is derived from GM sugar beets. In North America, more than 90% of the sugar beet crop is genetically modified, and since GM products are not labeled, it is impossible to know which sugar is GM-free and which isn't. That makes sugar, whether refined, white, or unrefined, brown, a depopulation poison too, and sugar is found in nearly all processed and fast foods, as well as in every kitchen. People outside North America do not have to worry about the sugar they consume because it is not from GM sugar beets. Americans and Canadians, as well as people throughout South and North America, however, are relegated to using only natural honey, sugarcane sugar, and maple syrup. Because North Americans cannot know if they are consuming depop sugar made from GM sugar beets or safe sugar made from sugarcane, they are also forced to stay away from all soft drinks, since all soft drinks are loaded with sugar, but also from flavored mineral water and things like sweetened yogurt. Artificial sweeteners are chemicals and have no place in our food and drinks. They are manufactured in chemical plants. They are not grown in fields. Nothing about them is natural. And they have been intended from the very beginning to serve the depopulation agenda. The sweetening power of most low-calorie sweeteners is at least 100 times more intense than regular sugar. Some are 20,000 times sweeter than sugar. These sweeteners are used by food companies to make diet drinks, baked goods, frozen desserts, candy, light yogurt, and chewing gum. Let me start with aspartame, because it is the most toxic artificial sweetener out there. Aspartame was discovered in 1965 and goes by the following brand names: NutraSweet, Equal, Spoonful, Equal Measure, Canderel, Benevia, AminoSweet, and NatraTaste. Aspartame is an ingredient in approximately 6,000 consumer foods and beverages sold worldwide, including diet sodas and other soft drinks, instant breakfasts, breath mints, cereals, sugar-free chewing gum, cocoa mixes, frozen desserts, gelatin desserts, juices, laxatives, chewable vitamin supplements, milk drinks, pharmaceutical drugs and supplements, shake mixes, tabletop sweeteners, teas, instant coffees, topping mixes, wine coolers, and yogurt. Aspartame is made from the feces of genetically modified E. coli bacteria. 40% of aspartame is composed of aspartic acid, which is an amino acid that crosses the blood-brain barrier, leading to neural cell damage that over time translates into epilepsy, Alzheimer's disease, multiple sclerosis, and dementia. Well established in the scientific literature is also the link between aspartame and cardiovascular issues such as heart attack and stroke. If that is not bad enough, the body converts aspartame into formaldehyde, which is a cancer-causing chemical that embalms our living tissue and damages DNA, causing lymphoma, leukemia, and other forms of cancer. Aspartame also promotes weight gain unrelated to caloric intake and is even more damaging to the body than consuming plain old sugar. Aspartame modifies the body's natural production of hormones, resulting in increased appetite and sugar cravings. Last but not least, aspartame worsens insulin sensitivity, which is bad news for diabetics. Yet, paradoxically, this depopulation poison is found in all diet drinks. After aspartame's approval for use in diet soda in 1983, over 1 million pounds of aspartame were consumed. In 1984, brain cancer rates increased higher than for any other type of cancer. According to the National Cancer Institute, there was a 10% increase in malignant brain cancer in 1985, just 2 years after aspartame flooded the market in diet drinks. Equally alarming is evidence that women of childbearing age who consume aspartame during pregnancy were delivering babies with an increased risk of brain and spinal cord cancer. Aspartame accounts for 75% of adverse reactions to food additives reported by the FDA. There are over 900 published studies on the health hazards of aspartame. Over 100 side effects can accompany the use of aspartame. You have to be insane to eat or drink anything containing aspartame. Yet this poison is found in over 6,000 consumer foods and beverages, and more than 50,000 metric tons a year are produced by the NutraSweet company, which from 1985 to 2000 was a Monsanto subsidiary, by Ajinomoto, a Japanese corporation which also produces monosodium glutamate, another vile depopulation poison, by Marathon Company, also a Monsanto subsidiary until 2000, and by the Holland Sweetener Company, a Dutch-Japanese conglomerate. The way aspartame was approved for use in the US and Europe is a classic example of the depopulation lobby working their leverage to force this vile depopulation poison down our throats. Acesulfame potassium was discovered in 1967. It is sold under the following brand names: Sonnet, Sweet 1, Sweet and Safe. Acesulfame K is a potassium salt containing methylene chloride, a known carcinogen. It is an agent that is also used as a propellant, degreaser, and paint stripper. Reported side effects of long-term exposure to methylene chloride can include nausea, headaches, mood problems, hypoglycemia, impairment of the liver and kidneys, problems with eyesight, and possibly cancer. Acesulfame K damages the thyroid gland, decreasing metabolism and contributing to weight gain. It is also linked with multiple types of cancer. Advantame was discovered in 2012 and is actually a derivative of aspartame. It is manufactured by the Japanese company Ajinomoto Incorporated, the same company responsible for producing most of the world's MSG. Advantame was only approved by the US FDA as a safe food additive as recently as May of 2014, making it the newest item on this list. It is also one of the sweetest. This high-intensity artificial sweetener is 20,000 times sweeter than table sugar. Advantame is water-soluble, and the advantage of this sweetener is that it does not break down at high temperatures, making it ideal for baking, syrups, gelatins, jams, jellies, puddings, chewing gum, sweet confections such as frosting, frozen desserts, processed fruits and juices, as well as soft drinks. Despite being a new artificial sweetener, it has already been linked to cancer. Advantame was created to replace aspartame because aspartame now requires labeling. The FDA and the EU have approved its use and do not require food manufacturers to indicate its use on food labels. That way, the poisoning of the masses with aspartame, now called advantame, can continue unabated, and the depopulation genocide can be completed. Alitame was discovered in the early 1980s. It goes by the brand name Acclaim. Alitame is formed from the amino acids aspartic acid and alanine, and it is very chemically similar to aspartame. It was developed by Pfizer and is 2,000 times sweeter than sugar. It is not yet approved in the USA, but it is approved in the EU, Mexico, China, and Australia. Aspartame acesulfame salt was discovered in 1995 and goes by the brand name TwinSweet. Aspartame acesulfame salt is an artificial sweetener composed of 64% aspartame and 36% acesulfame potassium. It is approximately 350 times sweeter than sugar. In North America, it falls under the same regulations as aspartame and acesulfame K, and is also approved for use in China, Russia, Hong Kong, Australia, and New Zealand. The rights to aspartame acesulfame are owned by the NutraSweet company, who have continued to market the sweetener successfully in the USA and the EU. All the same problems associated with aspartame can be found in aspartame acesulfame salt because the product is 64% aspartame. All products that contain it must carry a warning on the label. Cyclamate was discovered in 1937 and goes by the brand names Sucril and Cologran. This controversial high-potency sweetener was used in the United States in diet foods until 1970, at which time it was banned. However, it is approved in almost every other country and is a popular sweetener today. Animal studies indicate that cyclamate causes cancer and harms the testicles. Erythritol was discovered in 1848 and makes it the oldest artificial sweetener in the world. It is sold under the brand names Z-Sweet, Wholesome Sweeteners, Organic Zero, Zeros, Now Foods, New Naturals, Swerve Natural Sweeteners, and is derived from GMO corn. This sugar alcohol is about 70% as sweet as sugar. It occurs naturally in some fruits, but virtually all of the erythritol used as a food additive is produced by fermenting glucose with various yeasts. Many companies mix it with other sweeteners such as Rebiana, which is made from stevia, aspartame, and sucralose to bulk up the product and mask other sweeteners' unpleasant aftertastes. It has been linked with allergic reactions, which is so far the only safety concern about erythritol, as well as that eating too much of it could cause nausea. Isomalt was discovered in the 1960s. Isomalt is manufactured from sugar. In the US, this sugar is usually derived from GMO sugar beets. In the EU, sugar currently is derived exclusively from conventional beets. However, the EU has approved food and feed that is derived from GMO sugar beets that are cultivated in North America, so it is best to read the labels. This sugar alcohol is manufactured from sugar. It is often mixed with artificial sweeteners such as sucralose to provide more sweetening power. Isomalt appears to be safe, but like many other sugar alcohols, large amounts can cause diarrhea and gas. Isomalt can upset the stomach because the body treats it as a dietary fiber instead of as a simple carbohydrate. Like most fibers, it can increase bowel movements, passing through the bowel in virtually undigested form. Isomalt is very useful for confectioners and chefs for making showpieces, as it is much more resistant to crystallization and more malleable than sugar. Maltitol, sold by the brand names Lessie's, Multi-Sweet, and Sweet Pearl, is usually derived from GMO corn syrup unless in a certified organic product. Maltitol is a sugar alcohol, also called a polyol. Maltitol is derived from the hydrogenation of maltose, which comes from starch and is most commonly derived from corn, but can also be derived from wheat. It is used in candy manufacture, particularly sugar-free hard candy, chewing gum, chocolates, baked goods, and ice cream. Many studies in humans and animals have shown maltitol to be safe as a food additive. The Joint Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Health Organization Expert Committee on Food Additives has given maltitol its highest safety rating and has stated that no limits need to be placed on the use of maltitol. And nevertheless, we should not trust any artificial sweeteners. Lactitol, sold by the brand name Lacti, is derived from milk. Lactitol is a sugar alcohol, also called a polyol. It is made from lactose or milk sugar, so it is not suitable for people with dairy allergy or lactose intolerance. Like other sugar alcohols, lactitol is not absorbed well by the body. Large amounts above 20 to 30 grams may cause loose stools or diarrhea. Like most other sugar alcohols, lactitol can cause cramping, flatulence, and diarrhea in some individuals. Because humans lack a suitable enzyme in the small intestine to digest it, a majority of lactitol reaches the large intestine, where it then becomes fermentable to gut microbes and can pull water into the gut by osmosis, causing a laxative effect. Other than this, lactitol seems to be safe. Mannitol, sold as mannitol only or in combination with other ingredients, is not used as a sweetener on its own. Most mannitol commercially available is synthesized from fructose, which can be GMO. Cornstarch, from which mannitol is usually made, can consist of genetically modified corn, especially if the raw material was imported from the USA or Argentina. In the EU, genetically modified maize is a very small portion of corn crops and is not used for food. Mannitol is a sugar alcohol, also called a polyol. Like other sugar alcohols, mannitol is not absorbed well by the body. However, large amounts may have a laxative effect and cause diarrhea. The FDA requires foods whose reasonably foreseeable consumption may result in a daily ingestion of 20 grams of mannitol to bear the following mild warning. Excess consumption may have a laxative effect. Other than this, mannitol seems to be safe. Neohasperidine dihydrochalcone, also known as NHDC, is used in citrus juice, bitter foods, yogurt, ice cream, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, toothpaste, mouthwash, ketchup, and mayonnaise, as well as in animal feed. NHDC is used more as a flavor enhancer than a sweetener, and is roughly 1,600 times sweeter than sugar. It is very good at masking bitter flavors and at bringing out subtle flavors in food. The European Union approved NHDC's use as a sweetener in 1994. It has not been approved as a sweetener in the United States. NHDC can produce side effects such as nausea and migraine. Neotame is derived from aspartame. A neotame, produced by NutraSweet, the maker of aspartame, is 10,000 times sweeter than sugar, depending on the use, and 40 times sweeter than aspartame. A neotame is chemically related to aspartame, but the difference confers greater chemical stability, enabling the new sweetener to be used in baked foods. It is the cheapest sweetener on the market, 10% the cost of sugar, and 30% the cost of high fructose corn syrup. It was approved by the US FDA in 2002 and the European Union in 2010, but is still rarely used. A neotame also is approved for use in Australia and New Zealand. Saccharin was discovered in 1878 and goes by the brand names Sweet and Low, NectaSweet, Cologran, Hermesetas, Sucril, Sucron, Sugar Tween, and Sweet 10. While saccharin is banned in other countries, it is still available in the United States and is making a comeback. Saccharin is again showing up in a lot of artificially sweetened foods because it is super sweet and is now blended with other sweeteners to mask its metallic taste. Saccharin is a sulfa-based sweetener. Its primary ingredient is benzoic sulfonamide. Reported side effects include allergic reactions for those with sulfa allergies, nausea, diarrhea, skin problems, or other allergy-related symptoms. Like other artificial sweeteners, it has been found to cause cancer in the urinary tract and bladder, as well as cancer of the uterus, ovaries, skin, blood vessels, and other organs. Saccharin has also been shown to increase the cancer-causing effects of other compounds. In 1977, the FDA proposed that saccharin be banned because of studies that it caused cancer in animals. However, Congress intervened and permitted it to be used, provided that foods bear a warning label. It has been replaced in many products by aspartame. In 1997, the diet food industry began pressuring the US and Canadian governments and the World Health Organization to take saccharin off their lists of cancer-causing chemicals. In May 2000, the US Department of Health and Human Services removed saccharin from its list of cancer-causing chemicals. Later that year, Congress passed a law removing the warning notice that likely will result in increased use in soft drinks and other foods and in a slightly greater incidence of cancer. Sorbitol is made from glucose, which can be derived from corn or cornstarch. The corn used to make glucose almost always consists of genetically modified corn, especially if raw materials are imported from the USA or Argentina. In the EU, genetically modified corn is not used as raw material in the manufacture of foods. However, ingredients derived from several types of GM corn are approved in the EU. Another GMO concern is the use of enzymes in the production of sorbitol. When converting glucose to sorbitol, enzymes are used to unlock vegetable starch and convert it into ingredients or additives. Several of these enzymes are made with the aid of genetically modified microorganisms such as amylases, glucose isomerase, and pullulinase. These enzymes are not legally required to be on the label. Sorbitol may aggravate irritable bowel syndrome and other gastrointestinal conditions, even from small ingested amounts. Sucralose was discovered in 1976 and goes by the brand name Splenda and Novella. Sucralose or Splenda contains dextrose and maltodextrin, both of which are usually made from GMO corn. Sucralose is an organochloride. Organochlorides are some of the most toxic substances on Earth. Many pesticides are organochlorides and are toxic in small doses. Sucralose is a synthetic additive created by chlorinating sugar. In the 5-step patented process of making sucralose, 3 chlorine molecules are added to a sugar molecule. The resulting chemical structure of the chlorine in sucralose is almost the same as that in the now banned pesticide DDT. Splenda has been shown to increase migraine headaches, and other reported side effects include muscle aches, stomach cramps and diarrhea, bladder issues, skin irritation, dizziness, and inflammation. Research has shown sucralose can cause shrinking of the thymus gland, an important immune system regulator, and liver and kidney dysfunction. Studies have also found that sucralose caused leukemia in mice. Xylitol is usually derived from corn, which is almost always GMO. Xylitol resembles sugar in consistency and taste, but has a third fewer calories. It has the same level of sweetness as sugar, but is a sugar alcohol, which can cause some people intestinal problems. Xylitol is found in fruits and vegetables, but most is made from corn and vulnerable to being GMO. It is used in the production of toothpaste and chewing gum. Xylitol is known to cause diarrhea and other gastrointestinal issues such as gas and bloating. Moreover, xylitol is fatal to dogs and birds, which is a good enough reason why people should not be eating it either. Stevia is a natural plant. Much ado is made lately about stevia as a great alternative to sugar because it has a negligible effect on blood glucose levels and is 300 times sweeter than sugar. But few people know that stevia is one of nature's most potent sterilizers and should never be ingested. There is no need for artificial sweeteners. Stick to raw organic sugar, honey, and maple syrup. Honey is full of antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, alleviates allergy symptoms, has antibacterial and antifungal properties, and is a natural antiseptic. Moreover, its taste is second to none, and there is a honey for every taste. Maple syrup is packed with minerals and antioxidants, which is why it is a great product at warding off cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. In addition, maple syrup has high levels of zinc and manganese, keeping the heart healthy and boosting the immune system. Make sure the honey and maple syrup you buy are 100% pure and are not mixed with corn syrup or adulterated with artificial flavors. Nature knows best, so stick with natural products. And remember that all artificial sweeteners are depopulation poisons.